Alright, so we have news coming in from our finance minister. Yep. He says that the economy is heading in the right direction, so we won't seek for relief from IMF. Our finance minister, Honorable Ken Ofori Atta, has shown that the government's commitment to improving the economy is paying off and is showing good results. Therefore, we are not going to seek assistance from the International Monetary Fund, like we've been doing in the past, which is part of the reasons why Ghana has been in some debt. By what the finance minister says, the economy is heading in the right direction, and the government will find other ways of financing the country's debt and of making sure certain things are done the right way. He also announced that the government support and programs that have been introduced for this year alone and also for the upcoming year has made a lot of successes. He made mention of also the upcoming annual meetings of the African Development Bank, also where he said the government is intervening with policies to strengthen the economy by some partnership and by some agreements with some bodies and with some people in some of these institutions. So he says that by the way things are going, especially with their commitment, they are not going to go back to the fund, this IMF, where we always go to, one of the places where we've been, receiving help from. They claim that these intervention policies that have been made are going to do a lot of good to the country. And right now, for now, he says we are at the center of moving things forward and getting back the economy we all desire. Right now, he's watching the issue of validating some of the programs that they've put in place, because his hope is that they'll work efficiently, and if they do, there'll be no need to stress on going to another country or a foreigner to help us with some funds. And his view is that receiving support from them is not going to be necessary this time again. Also, they hope that the alternative ways of financing and reprofiling the debts of the country has to be done with seriousness and with a lot of thoughts, because he claims there's a general acknowledgement that should first be done about who we are and where we are and what we've achieved and what we have lost before we take a step forward. And I think that's true. We should stop all this borrowing and putting ourselves in the mouths of some of these people and these organizations who don't treat us well in the end. I'm not saying IMF does not treat us well, but hey, there have been examples of some agencies who have given help to Ghana, and then later, because of that help, have put us in a situation where we shouldn't have been, making things worse for us than before. So that is just it. That is just it. Now, we've also heard talks of the city. Some people claim the city is becoming weak, claim because of the rise in inflation and all of that is downgrading the country's money and the credit worthiness by some agencies and all of that. But he claims the city is getting back on its feet now. Also on the issue of restructuring the debt, the finance minister is saying that the issue is a little complicated. Thinking of things like the euro bond and also those private sector loans. So this issue of reconstructing debt is sort of like a 50-50 chance with regards to the domestic debt, as well as there's external debt that have been recorded. If we are to be serious about this, we will have to really be tactical about our expenditures. Also, that's one thing I think, because I feel there are some expenditures that are really not necessary, and there are some things that we could just turn a blind eye to them. I mean, just to make sure that certain areas that are more important are covered. You get it? It has been made aware with me that it has been made brought to our knowledge that the domestic debt, of course, has interest rates of about 3.5 times what the foreign debt is. And if you think about it, I think it's not a cool thing. And then we look at also some of the profile, and clearly the foreign debt in terms of the impact and how it began to hit, and if it is going to last to somewhere 2025, with regards to the euro bonds and all of that. And so anyway, the finance minister says solving the domestic debt issue would be tackled immediately, as much works are done in consideration of how to go about that. So solving the domestic debt is what we'll be looking at, and that is where they are putting their minds to on how best to do that. Also, he touched on those inflation issues, where he pointed out that the situation is not only in Ghana, but to him it's a global one. So it's not like Ghana is the only one going through those instances. Ever since the Ukraine Russia issue, it's sparked a lot of unrest, and it caused a lot of things in different economies. So it's not like Ghana is the only one that is suffering from that. So he hopes that the government will stay committed to building a certain form of entrepreneurial society where we'll be able to trade among ourselves and reduce the imports and all of those. It's always been that case, and that's what I've been saying to one of my colleagues, that the issue is with the imports. You get it? If we don't have enough money and yet we are spending a lot on imports, it will always be the problem. If we are exporting more, then of course we would have the higher hand. And my problem is, I don't even have a problem with the import, but with some of the things that are imported, that's the thing. I mean, there are some things you can do without, and there are some things we can even import, but from relatively cheaper places. You get it? The thing is, we don't have to always import a certain brand of, let me say, maybe I'm just giving an example, maybe cornflakes or maybe toothpicks or something like that, and there are some things we can just decide not to even import at all. So that's just it. If we are all serious about it, we would move Ghana way forward, and our economy will be better than it already is. And look at how some nations are doing poorly. You get it? Look at also how some nations are doing very well in these times. So it's not a matter of where we are located or who we are. It's just seriousness and dedication, and also taking some very serious measures. It's always been the case. We've seen countries which have risen up from nothing. There are countries, even countries which have gone through war, serious war, and have come back on their feet like the war never occurred. So if we are serious about it, we'll just be able to move forward. And also we have to stop this politics games of criticizing one another and finding fault and doing that blame game. If we are really serious, we'll not blame a certain previous government, and we'll not blame the current government for whatever trouble we are facing now. Let's just admit that okay, there has been fault, and then let's move on. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to take the next step? This your government did it, this government is doing this. It's not going to help us in any way at all. Let's just be serious. Let's be frank with you. It's not going to help. Let's all come together and work on this, and then I'm sure we'll be happier than we already are. Okay, viewers and listeners, leave your comments on the this video, where Ofori Atta is saying that Ghana would not need to borrow from the IMF anymore. We won't need to even ask them to give us money and all of those helps. Do you think this is true? Do you think this is possible? Do you think this is doable? Just feel free and add or say your comments in the section below, and let us hear your view. Thank you very much for listening, and have a very nice day.